Hello, this is Josh, retail beard mode engaged, and I want to talk today about physical media. I've noticed lately that this is becoming we're kind of having a moment of discourse, or at least of strange relevance. And I want to talk about the nature of that. Some people seem to think that this is a death knell. Other people think it's a resurgence, and there is complex, contradictory circumstances. So I recently made a video about my MST3K DVD collection with a lot of rarities and homebrewed things and stuff like that. And that's pertinent to our interest, our shared interest, I assume, in riffing, if you're watching this channel. But I also have a broader history of enjoying physical media, as I think I think that's adjacent to the hobby for a lot of MST riffing type folks, like I assume my viewers are. So I thought that this might be the time to broach this topic and maybe make a few videos about this, because I know a thing or two about physical media. I was born in the 70s, I was a little kid in the 80s, and I was a young adult in the 90s, at a time when everything was physical media. When I was a little kid, I had a record player, and then I had cassettes, and then I had CDs. I remember when CDs were new, and it was amazing. And I remember the first CD burner I had, and the first DVD burner that I eventually had. And I homebrewed all kinds of things on disc, and I'll show off some of that in a video sometime for you guys. I had a mini disc player at one point. I was walking around on my college campus with a mini disc player, and I would make little mixes, music mixes on mini disc. I just have always been an adopter and a tech guy, and I love physical media. For me, culture, music, movies, TV shows, and games have always existed in physical forms that I could hold and collect. That's increasingly rare. It's not gone. So my daughter, for example, is 12 years old, and so she knows Switch games. That's physical media to her. Books and Switch games are the things that she can collect and hold and touch. But movies and music and shows that's just not a thing. I think a lot of her teachers will still show a DVD from time to time in school. So the AV cart, which in my day originally it was a reel-to-reel projector, and then it was a slide projector, and then it was projection TV with a big, huge honking VCR, and then eventually became DVD players. It's still DVD players. Most of them have not upgraded to Blu-ray. My wife's classroom has, because I saw to it that she had a Blu-ray player to use. As I upgrade to Blu-ray, I gave her a lot of my DVDs that were relevant to music. My wife is a music teacher. And now that I'm upgrading to 4K, I'm giving her some of the Blu-rays of, West Side Story and things like that. Anyway, depending on who you talk to, physical media is dead or it's having a resurgence. And it is kind of hard to know which it is, because Target is phasing out physical media. We learned this a few weeks ago, and then just in this past week, as of this recording, we have learned that Best Buy, which is the last place that I can think of that you can go and shop for physical media, they're getting out of the physical media business. They apparently will still sell video games, but pundits say that it's just a matter of time until they stop selling all media. And yet, this past week saw a record number of home video 4K announcements. The studios are actually putting more and more emphasis into home video. So I'm not an analyst. I'm just an enthusiast. I haven't done extensive research on this, but just from my experience and my engagement with it, my observation as someone who has still to this day, I don't buy nearly as much physical media as I used to. I don't buy nearly as much everything, since I am unemployed and working seasonal jobs at the mall. But in general, even I've slowed my roll. I probably buy more video games now than I do movies, but I still keep up with the Criterion collection, and on select movies I'm upgrading to 4K. Disney has started releasing their animated catalog on 4K, and a lot of those are coming out for their 100th anniversary. So I have been buying, when possible, when I can scrape it together, I have been picking up the animation Blu-ray 4Ks, because some of Disney's Blu-rays have been atrocious. I'm all over the map here, but I'll get back to the point in a second. If you watch my sketchy videos on the channel, and when I draw, I love Disney animation, and when I draw stuff from those classics and the 90s ones in particular, I've bemoaned Disney going astray with a lot of their Blu-rays in terms of the quality of the picture. And now it seems that they are making things right. They're correcting the sins of their past. The 4Ks of the 90s stuff, the Aladdin and the Little Mermaid and Lion King, they look fantastic. They look really, really great. These movies were colored and created digitally. They're hand-drawn, but they exist in a digital environment, so it's probably a little easier for them to clean them up. But the classics that have come out, like Cinderella and Snow White, also have been meticulously restored. All right, tangent over, back to the topic at hand. If I was going to guess why physical media is coming back, I think there are a few factors. To understand the first one, we need a little bit of context, and that is just to understand historically DVD culture and how big it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, and how movie studios discovered the cash cow of home video. I guess it really dates back to the Disney films that I was just talking about and those clamshell animation VHSs. That was the first boom of home video. But then when DVD came out and we got into this whole era of special features and special editions, and around the time that movies like Fight Club are coming out on DVD, they're coming out in these really creative and weird special editions. Movies that maybe underperformed in the theater are now getting a new life on home video, and they're adding all this extra value. They're adding things that became standard, which is the commentaries and the deleted scenes and the documentaries and all that stuff. So there was a stretch there. There was like a decade there where it was just an embarrassment of riches of DVDs with added value content, and then increasingly improved presentations, and then the upgrade to Blu-ray and HD and all that. So this used to be a cash cow, and then it kind of went away through the laziness of the studios, through the changing of the culture. Streaming slowly has been introduced as an alternative for how people watch movies. The quality bonus features have become more and more rare, really relegated to things like the Criterion Collection. So understanding that, with streaming not being the boom that studios may have expected it to be, I think studios are eager to get back something like what they had in the past with the DVD culture. They're also noticing now that Gen Xers like me, who are nostalgic for that DVD culture, are still willing. We're willing, and most of us have more disposable income, and we want to dive back in. So I think that's why we're seeing all these announcements. I think 4K is genuinely exciting to people. Although, as an aside, I have to say, studios are still in this spot where 4K is so new, and the whole point of it is supposed to be that the quality is so high that studios are still pretending that they can't afford to put special features on a 4K disc, and this is ridiculous. Lionsgate has already proven that it's possible. Lionsgate is putting extras and commentaries on the 4K disc so you can enjoy everything together. They did this with DVD with these super bit titles where they said it's such a high bit rate, the quality is so high, we can't afford to put any bonus features on there. And they're doing that now with 4Ks. They're putting Blu-rays in the package. And that's the only way to get the bonus features. You can fit those on the 4K, all right? We know that you can fit them. Just do it. Cut it out. So the studios are eager for a way for consumers, viewers, to engage with content. And streaming is not what they wanted it to be, and theaters are barely eking by. We had this moment with Barbenheimer where there was a monolithic cultural event, which is the kind of thing we don't have anymore. And DVDs were that kind of thing where everybody had a DVD of Fargo or The Matrix or Fight Club or whatever. And I think physical media it's always been appealing to us, the fans of it, the Gen Xers who grew up on it. But I think the studios are starting to I think there's a little bit of cynicism and nostalgia bait going on there. But I think they're also just trying to find a way to reconnect with viewers in a way that they haven't been able to for a while. So is physical media dying? I don't think so. It's certainly not in a boom like it used to be, and I don't know if it ever will again. But the problem is that the alternatives are weak. You can't just give up physical media. If you're a diehard media fan, content fan, film fan in my case, and you want to own movies and know that you're going to be able to watch the movies and shows and things that you love, I'm always going to want a physical copy, a physical thing. And so yes, Best Buy is getting rid of physical media, but if you've gone to a Best Buy in the last few years, you've seen the slow motion death of physical media. You would think physical media was over if you just went to Target and Best Buy. I'm a guy who every Tuesday, since I was like 25, I've gone to Best Buy just to go peruse the shelf and see what came out. It used to be exciting. It used to be so much stuff. It used to be like appointment shopping. And now it's just, for the better part of the last 5-6 years, it's just been pathetic. It's just been a shrinking shelf. They literally just made the shelves smaller a couple weeks before this announcement that they're giving it up altogether. So something is going to have to give. I feel like there is a real moment here for a retailer to step up. Yes, Amazon is the place that you get physical media now. The prices are okay and they have everything. But as an avid physical media guy, I don't love the fact that I don't know the physical condition of what I'm buying. I'll frequently get broken Blu-ray cases from Amazon. I feel like there is a vacuum now that's going to have to be filled by somebody's going to come along and reinvent retail for tech and physical media, as Best Buy, I guess, has decided to turn into an appliance store. That's what they are now. So I guess I put it to you, as I broach this topic of physical media here on the channel, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my collection and some of the weird stuff in it. But in general, are you a collector? Do you still collect? Are you ready for the death of physical media, or have reports of that death been greatly exaggerated? I'd like to know what you think. And is this even interesting? It's interesting to me because I thought that this was over. A month ago, I would have maybe said that physical media is dead, and then I would have taken the news about Target and Best Buy to mean, yep, nail in the coffin. But if you follow sources that talk about physical media, like the Digital Bits and DVD.com and all these places where there is still discourse about such things, it's not that simple. It's not dead. Thank you for watching. I've been Josh. I'll be back again soon with more nonsense.